Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Craftyartshack, and we're back here today with another challenge video. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, so let's get on with the crafts. Let's go! Alright, here we go with DIY number 1. Alright, here we are at the craft desk, and what I did is I took some of these gift boxes and I took and cut them up until I got a piece about the size that I wanted, and I'm going to trim this extra off. And then what I'm doing is I'm measuring this to make sure that it is going to be the same width as my Jenga block. Now that is not the Jenga blocks that you get from the Dollar Tree. Those are the Jenga blocks that I got at a thrift store, which are a little bit bigger. They're not the original Jenga blocks, but they are Jenga blocks, or tumbling tower blocks, I guess. So I'm really not measuring here. What I'm trying to do is I have another little stand that I made back at Valentine's Day, and it had a little banner on it, and so what I was doing is trying to get this one pretty close to where that one was at. So I'm making some marks so I can make a straight line and bend that up in the front. It's not so much about the measurement as it is getting a straight line going in the same direction instead of sitting slanted, if that makes sense. And then I'm going and doing the same thing for the next little fold. Now what you see me doing here is this is my coffee stir stick, and I am putting it in there, and I'm going to measure how much I need to cut off so that that little stick fits up in there. Now that little short stick I'm going to save for my next part of this that I'm going to do, and I'm also cutting the one for the front of the booth. And so these coffee stir sticks cut just fine with those little wire clippers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little frame to fit up inside of this. So I'm going to take my two short ends and I'm going to mark them where I want to trim them off, and then we'll assemble all of this together. Now here we are, we're assembling those pieces, and we're going to put E600 on there, and you're going to put it on the two short ends of your stick, coffee stir sticks, and then you're going to take your next piece and you're going to put it on where a little bit of it hangs over the edge. And this is just going to help with the stability of our little awning that is going on our little lemonade stand. That's what we're making, is a lemonade stand. So I'm going to let that dry. Now, the reason why we used E600 on those stir sticks is because the hot glue doesn't stick to them as well. But now you see me using hot glue, and the reason why I'm using the hot glue is because of the paper there. The hot glue will stick to the paper, so I'm going to glue this down, and then I'll fold that little edge that's right there over the top and glue it down. And then I decided I didn't want the little sticks to show, so I cut another little piece, and I'm going to hot glue that on to the paper. And the paper with that hot glue and the coffee stir stick, all of that will cause it to stay together. But when you're gluing those stir sticks together to start with, you need to use that E600. Now I'm going to wrap our little Jenga block in this same box that I wrapped the awning on, and so I'm going to cut out these little pieces here, and then I'm going to place them on my Jenga block. Now once I get these cut out, I'm going to like I said, wrap them around the Jenga block, and I'm going to place the folds on the corners as close as I can get them, and I'll just hot glue this to the Jenga block. Actually, I didn't hot glue it to the Jenga block. I used this Aleene's tacky glue to wrap the block in this little design from these boxes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this out with the little coffee stir sticks, and I'm going to cut them down to the size that I need them by just marking them, and then I'm going to place them all the way around this. I use these little bitty miniature spindles that I got from Hobby Lobby back in the miniature dollhouse section, and I am going to hot glue them to the front of this piece, just like you see me doing here. And the two, I think this is going to be the front side. The two front side ones go all the way down at the bottom, and then when you glue the back side ones on, you'll raise them up in the back, because it and I'm trying to figure out how to clamp these on here to hold them until I get to them, and I just say forget it. Here you see me gluing these back ones on. Now I go down to that first little indentation in the, or embossing, or whatever you call it, in the little spindle, and place that at the top of the block. Now these are the little pieces. I'm going back and I'm cutting them back down a little bit because they were too long with my spindles on there. I forgot to put the spindles on, so if you do this, remake this project, put your little spindles on first, then go put your trim pieces on, and it'll work out a lot better. Then once you get all your trim pieces on like you want, then you're going to take and put some hot glue on the top of each one of these little spindles. And if you want this to be permanent, use E600. But I'm going to use hot glue for video purposes. And so I'm going to hot glue that on and let that stay there until it gets set in place. Then I didn't like how it looked on the sides, so I'm going to take and put some hot glue on there, and then I cut me a piece of those coffee stir sticks and trimmed it so that it would fit right over the spot, and it makes it look a lot more finished when you do that. Now we're going to take our little plastic tubing that came off of some of our sponge brushes, things that we use for putting Mod Podge and stuff on. You see them? I'm showing you one there. And we're going to take and cut it down about a little, probably about a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to get 3 of them. And I'm going to fiddle with them for a while. Now, I got this little jar of lemons that you see on there, and I took and got that off of Amazon. And what I did is I put some on the front of the display, and I made a little sign that says lemonade stand. Now, what I'm doing here is I took some more out of the jar, and I'm going to cut them in half. And we are going to use these on our little cups of lemonade that we are making. And that's what the little white pieces are that you see sitting there to the side that I cut up off of the sponge brushes. And we're just going to take our hot glue and put it down inside the tube. And then I'm going to take that little lemon. Oh my gosh, there goes the alarm again. So I'm going to take this little lemon and put it in there and hot glue it down. And then I'm going to hot glue it to my little stand over there on the right side after I finish all of these little no, I'm not finishing the cups. I was putting glue on it. And then we're just going to stick it down here at the bottom. Now, you kind of want to use a low temp glue, hot glue for this if you're doing it, because you don't want to melt your little tubes pieces. And then we'll just glue each of these in place, and we will see the rest of this at the final reveal. For this little project, I drew inspiration from Melissa Makes It DIY, and here is a picture of her little lemonade stand. Y'all go check out her channel. She's doing some awesome crafts, and you sure don't want to miss it. And this is the Fruit and Bee Open Challenge Recreation Inspiration Playlist. It's hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, the Craftyartshack, which is us, and At Home with Kay is our special guest host this month. So you guys go check out these ladies' channels. Check out the playlist in the description box below, because they're doing some awesome crafts, and you sure don't want to miss it. So go check them out. Now here we go with DIY number 2. Alright, for DIY number 2, we're going to make some little stools to sit in front of our lemonade stand. So what I did is I took one of these sticks that I got from off of my sponge brushes that come from the Dollar Tree, that I used the sponges, and then I cut them off and saved the little sticks off of them for crafts and stuff. So I'm going to cut it down to about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm measuring only because I'm going to make 2. And I'm erasing that spot because evidently I didn't like where it was and how long it was. So I'm not exactly sure how long I'm going to make it. I think I make them 1/2 inch long. And then The next thing I'm going to do is cut this with my miter shears. This cuts really easy with the miter shears. You want to be careful, keep your hands out of the way so you don't cut anything that you don't want to cut. And then I'm going to sand those little edges off and clean those up. The next step is I take some more of that yellow and white box, and I'm going to cut some little strips to wrap around my little pillars here. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to roll this paper all the way around this and secure it on here. Next thing I'm going to do is take and glue my little button right on the top. I'm going to add some jute twine around this, and we will see the rest of this at the final reveal. This one I drew inspiration from Everything Very Small's YouTube channel, and here is a picture of the little one that she made, and I think it's adorable. Okay, let's jump right into DIY number 3. This DIY, we're going to make us a little cart for our lemons. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking these little foam pieces that you get from the Dollar Tree over in the automotive section. And I think that's the automotive section that I got them in. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to make a little stand, and I'm going to take those little squares and place them so far apart that when you bend it over, it's not falling on top of the other one. So see, I make the bend, and then I'm going to put my little square down or rectangle down after that. Okay, and then I'm going to just fold it up nice and neat. I'm going to cut the bottom off first, and then I'm going to cut little slits. I think I am. Yeah, I'm going to cut some little slits all the way around this so that that will make my bottom of my little box or crate that I'm making. Now, we drew inspiration from this one from Crafting and Mimi's World, so I'll talk more about her in just a minute, but you see how I'm folding these. So the last one you can just cut off straight, flat, and then you want to leave a little tip on the other one so that you can get it folded right where you want it to be so that it's nice and square. For this next part, I stuck one of those little squares, foam squares, back on to one of the pieces of cardboard, the yellow and white cardboard. And I'm going to make sure I cut it down enough to fit up inside that little box. And then I'm going to add a bunch of hot glue in there so that that will stay in there. And then I'll trim up the edges all the way around it. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of those yellow beads from the dollar store, and I am going to cut them in half long ways, and then for my fourth little one to put it down in there, I'm going to stick it right in there, and then I'll add some hot glue, and I'm not sure what I'm doing now. Oh, I'm filling it in so that when it dries I can put some yellow paint over it so that it doesn't show the holes. And I filled each one of these little beads with half the bead with glue, and then I'm going to paint it on there, and that's what you see me doing now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my coffee skewers and write fresh lemons on it, and then I'm going to clip this off, and I am going to take a little toothpick and I am going to add that to my little crate. And what I'm doing is, that's actually a skewer, not a toothpick, and I'm going to see how tall I want it, and then I'm going to trim it off, and then I'm going to add some extra embellishments to this. I'm going to glue another half bead to the top of that, and then I'm going to set my sign on it and add some flowers, and that will be it. And we will see this at the final reveal, and this turned out so cute, y'all. And I'll add a few more embellishments. You'll see it at the final reveal. So this actual inspiration came from Crafting and Mimi's World, and she made a little lemonade cart lemon cart like this, and I drew inspiration and made my little box like that. This is the Fruit and Bee Open Challenge Recreation Inspiration playlist. It's hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, the Craftyartshack, which is us, and At Home with Kay is our special guest host this month. So you guys go check out these ladies' channels. Check out the playlist in the description box below because they're doing some awesome crafts, and you sure don't want to miss it. So go check them out. Now, at this time, we'd like to thank our subscribers. We love you bunches, and we really appreciate you. And here we are with the final reveal. All right, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these just turn out awesome? Well, if you like this content, subscribe, like, and share, because it really helps our video out. And for all our subscribers, thank you so much for everything you do for us by subscribing to the channel. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.
What I was doing. When I look at something in the background or whatever and I notice it's out of place, it's like, squirrel! My craft room's not full. I still have the ceiling to hang stuff from. What do you mean you can't find it? Babe, it's right there behind my, yeah, that thing. Yeah, it's behind my stuff. I know. Hey, babe, those are my tools. Yours are over there in your toolbox behind my stuff. That's why you're using mine? Listen, I have everything right here in hand's reach so that I can do a video. Why is it over there? Because I'm not using it right now. No, don't get rid of it. I need it. But I know it's not at hand's reach, but I need it. I might want to use it. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these just turn out awesome? So you guys, if you like this content, subscribe. Hit that notification bell and give us that big thumbs up because it really helps our channel out. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.